Hey, heels down. It's Courtney again, here with Doug and Jessica Payne, Vandiver, Quinn, our lovely supermodel. And today we're gonna do polo wraps. So polos are great in the barn for protecting legs. I like to use them a lot on horses, especially here in Aiken with the sand, because then you don't get the neoprene that will sweat from boots and then where they get skin irritation. I like it a lot on horses that, you know, doing flat work as opposed to jumping, because they just conform to the legs a bit better than boots do. But so a lot of people don't really know the proper way to put a polo wrap on. There's a couple of things that you have to be careful with. You have to make sure that you go from front to back so that you don't put inappropriate tension on the tendons as you're wrapping. And then you have to make sure that your tension's even up and down the leg and that your spacing's even so that you don't have like weird pressure points as you go. So we're gonna do a front and a hind wrap today, and Quinn, our lovely model here, is gonna be my dummy. So, and people do, you know, there's a couple different ways to do it. When I wrap polos on the front legs, I like to start just below the knee here, kind of go right around the front of the cannon bone. And then you want to make sure that they're snug but not too tight. So then I just try to keep really even tension all the way down the leg. And then you want fairly even spacing. So I try to do about 2 fingers width, or about, it's like 2/3 of your wrap is what's covered as you go down. You're just gonna evenly go down the leg. Wraps are pretty straight, I guess just a little bit of an angle so that you are moving down the leg as you go. And then when you get here to the ankle, you wanna just angle your polo wrap down a little bit so that you catch the bottom of their fetlock here. Come back around the front. Then you're gonna make this little upside down V, or I guess the top of the triangle, however you wanna call it. And then you're just basically gonna repeat the process going back up the leg. So same even spacing, and then kind of as soon as I start coming back up the leg, I take this little flap right here and I fold it down so that you don't end up with a weird wrinkle in the wrap up here at the top of their leg. And then, so you just continue with your spacing all the way back up, and then your Velcro should end, depending on the length of your polo and how even your spacing is. If all works out perfectly, your Velcro ends right around the back of the tendon. Nice, even, straight lines.
Perfect.
Yay, and then, excuse me Quinn, one step over, buddy. Perfect. And then, so for the hind leg.
I should say they make sure that they're standing on their feet.
Yeah, yeah. You want to make sure that they're standing even, because if they're, like here, I'll see if I can get him. They're standing like that, you're not going to get even. Come on, buddy. He's like, I'm not supposed to stand that way. But if they're standing, not resting their leg, or without full weight on their leg, you're going to get uneven tension.
Push them back over.
Come on, buddy, back this way. Oh, right there. Good boy. And that's when you'll end up with those weird wrinkles and stuff and uneven pressure on their tendons, which is what's going to lead to an injury or, you know, extra strain type of thing. So then when I do a hind leg, I start back here. So kind of the same thing. Instead of being halfway around the front, I start about halfway down the middle or halfway on the side of their leg. And then, so you're going to do the same thing. Your even spacing, and usually on hind legs, because they're a bit longer, my spacing's a bit wider than it is on the front legs, but you still just want to make sure that it's really even, that your pressure's the same. And then same thing, you're going to go around bottom of their ankle there, right back up. And something really important when you're coming back up, you want to make sure that you cover where you've swooped down, because a lot of people will miss that part, and then they'll have a gap at the back of the ankle, especially with,
show that.
Yeah, here I can. So like you really want to make sure when you do this first pass back around that you cover that well enough, because if you come up too high, you'll end up with a gap in your wrap, and then that's what leads to slipping, and you'll have the polo down around their pastern, or even
you
sometimes
see the holes that people have
caught in their, yep, caught around their feet. And then it's the same thing. And you finish there. So my Velcro was a little bit shorter on this wrap than on the front one, so it ended up a little bit on the side, but you can see the end of the Velcro would have been around there. Kind of a big thing with polos, I don't use them when you're gonna be in wet footing, when it's raining, if horses are gonna be hacking or something like that, leaving the arena. I try not to use polo wraps because you don't wanna get sticks and dirt and stuff like that kind of caught. Burrs are really bad. And you definitely don't want them wet, because if they get wet, then they get heavy and then they're pulling on the tendons. And so that can cause a lot of strain, and that's a good way to lead to injury. But flatting for lessons, flat lessons, dressage clinics, warming up at horse shows, white polos always look really fancy. We use a lot of black when schooling, but they're kind of fun. You can get them in all different colors, you can make it your own and, do something fun. So thanks guys, good luck.